Here's an update on the drug war for you. Police arrest more people for marijuana use than for all violent crimes combined. That is just a fucking earth-shattering fact. This is what our police are spending their time on. More people for marijuana use than all violent crimes combined. I don't even think marijuana use should be a crime. Listen, there are things that I call them natural crimes. Things that, like, if you look at, any reasonable person would go, yep, that's a crime. Rape, fucking murder, grand theft. Like, everybody who's reasonable looks at that and goes, yep, that's not cool. But then there are things where, I would argue reasonable people go, no, that's not a crime at all, and you need to back the fuck off. One of those things is non-violent drug crimes. It's non-violent, and it's in regards to drugs, so whether you're selling them or doing them or whatever the case is, whatever. Hashtag freedom, bitch. So, basically what they're saying here is, police arrest people more for non-crimes, for freedom, for marijuana use, for marijuana selling, whatever, than natural crimes, actual crimes, violent crimes. All of the resources wasted on this. For what? And you're ruining lives. For what? I mean, Bill Clinton smoked weed. Obama smoked weed. Bush, there are allegations that he did cocaine. These are people, imagine they got caught when they were young in this situation. Then they would have gone to jail, then they never would have become president. But instead, these cretins got elected, and then they didn't fucking immediately turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to free all the nonviolent drug offenders. To be fair to Obama, he did release a lot of them. In his second term, he just kept signing, commutation after commutation, to let, or pardon after pardon, commutation after commutation to let these people out, which is good. But, you got to go full court press to legalize marijuana and free all the nonviolent drug offenders, because this is nonsense, man. If you were caught, you would have been in that situation. Your life could have been ruined as a result of this. So all these presidents that didn't do nearly enough or actively went in the wrong direction when they knew that this isn't a big issue, somebody does drugs, and now we're at the point where there's more arrests for marijuana use, not even selling, but use, than all violent crimes combined. So, on any given day in the United States, at least 137,000 people sit behind bars on simple drug possession charges. And that's according to the ACLU and Human Rights Watch. 137,000 people locked up for simple possession every day. That number should be zero. It's 137,000. Nearly 2/3 of them are in local jails. Most of these jailed inmates have not been convicted of any crime at all. And what's happening is they're sitting in a cell and they're waiting for a day in court, but the appearance might not come for months or even years because they can't afford to post bail. This system that we've created is rotting from the inside out. And there are more than 1.25 million arrests each year for drug possession. It's the problem. We need criminal justice reform, and we need it now. You have to end the drug war. You have to free the nonviolent drug offenders. How is it that we jail more people than China? China's not some sort of, progressive paradise. China's very punitive, and everybody knows that. But somehow we jail way more people than China because of the drug war. We ruin lives. And of course, there's this concept that this is the new Jim Crow. The new Jim Crow, so you went from slavery to fucking Jim Crow and segregation, and then, well, what's the next phase of it? Well, we can have totally free people, but instead of that, why don't we lock people up for bullshit reasons like getting caught smoking marijuana? And then, look, there was even an admission from a top Nixon administration official who said, yeah, the reason that we did the drug war is because we wanted to punish hippie whites and people of color who are not our constituents. They weren't our voting bloc, and they were never going to support us. So you try to outlaw and criminalize the group of people who aren't going to support you. They admitted this. Hippie white people, poor people, and people of color. That's who we're targeting here with the drug war. And by the way, even because some people make the argument, well, people shouldn't do drugs anyway, so you have to be punitive about it. But even if that's your position, well, you failed. Because just as many people, if not more people, use drugs now than they did before you launched the war on drugs. And you flushed over $1 trillion down the toilet in the process of doing it, wasting money. So there's no reason to keep this thing going. This is a police state, man. That's what this is. If we jail more people than any other, we jail more people than Russia, China, all these fucking horrific, regimes that we talk about. If we jail more people than them, what does that say about us? What does that say? This is what a police state looks like. And we haven't even discussed the other angle of this, which is you look at the Ferguson report where the federal government did the investigation into Ferguson, and they learned about all the ways in which this is basically the police department exists to shake down the black community there, to get them, nab them on bullshit charges and to find the shit out of them. And, this is the state of so-called criminal justice in the U.S. Look at legalized robbery by cop. We have that in the United States of America. Civil asset forfeiture is a thing. Legalized robbery by cop. There's more money that's stolen by police than stolen by criminals. That's a real fact. Because police legally take your shit. They go, oh, you were driving through my town and I caught you with $4,000 on you. I think you're going to do a drug deal, so I'm going to take the $4,000 and you can't get it back. And you could try to get it back, but the process is antiquated and makes no sense and it's impossible. And so what happens is police rob you and then they take that money at the end of the year and they build themselves a nice little break room and they have a margarita machine. This is an actual story that we covered on the show a few years back. Because this is what happens. They pay themselves out in bonuses when they rob you and shake you down. So we have a system in the U.S. where you have police armed to the teeth, because they get all the military-grade equipment that's overstocked. So they get all this tanks and fucking Kevlar vests and insane weaponry that's only for times of war. So they're armed to the teeth. They fucking rob people and shake them down with civil asset forfeiture. And they lock people up who are non-violent people who are just doing drugs. And we're going to say this isn't a police state? This is like the definition of a police state. We live in a dystopian future nightmare, and it's happening right now.